Happy New Year and welcome to the first edition of the 7:30 News for the year 2021. I am Benin Bumagana, live from Studio 5 of the CRTV Production Center in Balatu, Yaoundé.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
Welcome back. The President of the Republic, Paul Biya, has praised the population of the Northwest and Southwest regions for their willingness to collaborate more to end the crisis in these regions. Ibneza Kanga has highlights of the President's State of the Nation's address on the 31st of December.
The head of state began by saying that 2020 was a dark year for Cameroon and many other countries of the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused several deaths and seriously affected the economy of the country. He hailed health professionals for the job done in saving the lives of Cameroonians infected by the pandemic.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms.
The president said that though attention was focused on COVID-19, the government also carried on with the objectives of maintaining peace and security in the country, completing the decentralization process, and realizing the country's economic development program. He praised the defense and security forces for containing Boko Haram in the far north region and secessionist fighters in the northwest and southwest regions. The president was very bitter about the Kumba school children massacre.
This crime, which is a shock to the human conscience, will not go unpunished. All the perpetrators will be hunted down relentlessly and brought to justice. Already public opinion, particularly in the two regions concerned, can realize, if that is not yet the case, that these so-called secessionists are actually nothing more than murderers and, what is more murderous, of innocent children.
While hailing the population of the Northwest and Southwest for collaborating more and more in the fight against terrorism, President Biya once again called on fighters who are still in the bushes to drop their guns and join the DDR centers. He noted with satisfaction that Cameroonians ignored the call for insurrection that was made by one political party. For 2021, the head of state said that despite the fact that the country's public finances were affected by COVID-19 and the global economic crisis, there is a possibility to relaunch the economy of the nation in the coming months. For this to be done, the president called on Cameroonians to remain united and determined.
After listening to President Paul Biya's State of the Nation's address, many politicians say it has inspired hope as the president touched salient issues affecting the socio-political and economic well-being of Cameroonians. Constantine Baum spoke with some politicians and edited their reactions in the following report.
This is one key message Cameroonians long await from their president, a message awaited by politicians as well, who say there is always hope when President Biya addresses the nation.
He gave the situation in the world and that in Cameroon, and made us understand that Cameroon has been able to manage this pandemic, and regrets the fact that Cameroonians are not respecting the prescriptions have been made by government, and he did encourage Cameroonians to respect those prescriptions.
It is also a time for the politicians to appreciate how the country has been managed for the past year.
It came at due time to remind us that we are a very strong nation We have to remain united, because united it is always possible to find means and way to address all the issues, no matter how tough the problem.
The highly awaited end-of-year address met the expectations of many politicians.
Clear picture of the evolution of our democracy, of the decentralization process which started several years back, which has come to an end with the election of our regional executives. While other countries take centuries to be able to attain the level where we are, Cameroon went through it within a few decades. We now can talk of Cameroon as a democratic country.
A message that is bringing hope to many Cameroonians as they begin to celebrate a new year with confidence that the government will address the many challenges the country is facing.
The president's end-of-year address was followed largely in the 10 regions of the country. The governors of the littoral, east and west regions reacted to areas that concerned their different regions. Here are the reactions of Governor Samuel Dieudonné Vaha-Diboua of the littoral, Gregoire Vongor of the east, and Awa Funkar of Gustin of the west regions. Edited for the 7:30 News.
The head of state has shown us that he is holding the shape of Cameroon in a good manner. He has made realizations we were waiting for: the regional elections, municipal and legislative one. Despite the hindrance of this COVID-19, the head of state has made us to realize the Chan and Can competition that are coming in the 3 regions.
The head of state made mention of these interferences in the north and in the east, and he regrets the fact that in the northwest and the southwest region, this phenomenon of internal attacks have continued. It is in our interest to be able to foster our development.
We will do everything possible in the months coming so that everybody in this region apply barrier measures. We have some problem in our border with Central African Republic. Many refugees are coming in our region. We will work hard to maintain peace and security in this region.
There has also been reactions to President Paul Biya's State of the Nation's address coming in from the north and south regions. The reactions all show a population fired by a new optimism after the speech. Let's follow them.
The head of state's message to Cameroonians is among the issues of discussion in most cycles in the North Regional capital, Garoua, as the people celebrate the season. Residents are impressed that the head of state talked about the global health crisis that has not spared Cameroon and the North region as well.
The head of state told us to put hand to build a very strong Cameroon.
Others equally hailed the president's determination to see peace restored to the northwest, southwest, and the far north regions of the country.
The Anglophone crisis told us about the special attention you gave. So it's like a helping hand.
The wish of the population in the north region is for Cameroon to remain a land of peace and stability.
Top dignitaries of the south region converged on the governor's residence to watch the president's end-of-year address to the nation, an address which they are unanimous has been a reflection of the challenges faced by Cameroon in 2020.
The security problem, the COVID-19 pandemic, and he equally mentioned our democratization process.
President Paul Biya has warned Cameroonians that the coronavirus pandemic is far from over, prescribing the strict respect of barrier measures.
We equally have to see to it that the directives of the president are respected.
Paul Biya has expressed satisfaction with Cameroon's decentralization process that recently witnessed a giant step with the setting up of regional councils.
To use the general code of decentralization to implement the decentralization.
Choral music and merrymaking graced the event at the South Governor's residence.
Away from reactions to President Paul Biya's State of the Nation address, let's talk about the crossover night into 2021. Inhabitants of Biya in the southwest region have celebrated the coming of the new year with prayers and fanfare. CRTV's Guy Roger Nana walked along some streets in Biya early this morning to capture the mood. His report.
In Biya, many chose to celebrate the coming of the new year in praise and prayer. Most churches in the town were in full capacity as Christians gathered to thank God for seeing the much-awaited 2021.
It's a wonderful thing. I had faith in God. I knew He was going to make me. But not because I'm the most righteous, but it's because of the love and concern God has for me.
Many couldn't hide their emotions and joy.
So many people have begged to see Him here, but I don't even have help. Grateful to see this year, to see this time, this day, this second and this minute. I'm overwhelmed because there are so many that I could not see this day. We have to thank Him. We have to glorify Him.
The streets of Biya were saturated with emotional celebrants, each of them expressing these emotions either in dancing or simply sharing a bottle or two with friends and loved ones as they remain positive for a brighter 2021 ahead.
Most Cameroonians got up with thankfulness and joy today for crossing into the new year 2021. However, it was difficult for most persons to get out of bed early today, thanks to hours of prayers and praise in churches or celebration in bars overnight. Sierra TV's Joyce Tata went out this morning to witness the mood of the city this first day of the year 2021 and brought back this report.
Lonely streets in the nation's capital this January 1, 2021. Popular junctions empty with very few persons spotted. To some vendors, business continues. But where could everyone be? Oh, the house of God. I'm just leaving the church now. I thank God I was able to make it regardless of the tiredness. I decided to begin firstly in the house of God before going to feast with family. Others hope for a more successful year as they empty several bottles of liquor.
It is a new start for us, full of dreams. We pray the Lord help us not to face 2020's problems once again. It is an unusual start, but we are trying to cope with it and head on the next year.
At the Mvogada neighborhood in Yaoundé, the DJs are still in full spirit, dishing out the people's choice to the dancing pleasure of many. Tiredness is real, though retiring home is far from being an option. Yaoundé city dwellers expressed their joy in seeing the year 2021 in different ways with a heart of gratitude.
And during the crossover night into the year 2021, 4 accidents were recorded in some neighborhoods in Yaoundé. Unfortunately, the accidents led to 1 person dead, 3 injured and a lot of material damage recorded. For more, here is Ewane Epole.
The night of Thursday, 31st December 2020, breaking Friday, 1st of January 2021, was marked by feasting as people began celebrating the new year.
I went to Bokito as a musician to animate the people in New Year.
Festivities were marked by a number of accidents in Yaoundé registered in some hospitals.
We have received 1 victim of accident this night. In the other service, we have 2 patients and 1 patient who have neuromalaria.
The Central Regional Traffic Police Control Unit, on their part, were on guard.
Under the coordination of the Delegate General for National Security, while we were on the field, we registered 19 cases of material damages, 3 cases of minor accidents, and 1 person died in a car accident at Ahala.
According to the Commissioner of Police, the COVID-19 pandemic and the delocalization of the Yaoundé and Fête Yafe Festival ground from the Post Office Junction to the Yaoundé Conference Center helped to reduce the rate of accidents and death.
And as you just heard in that report by Ewane Pole, a special police patrol was out all night in the city of Yaoundé to the New Year 2021, ordered by the Director General of National Security in Cameroon, Barngangele. Their mission was to ensure that peace and security reigned as the inhabitants celebrated the crossover night. Alice May was out with the team. Here is the report she brought back.
The police caravan began its tour from Rong Point Longkak to the commercial center, where the commander of the Special Operation Unit was instructing his troops on how to operate.
I am telling them that today is a particular day. They must be very vigilant, and I'm sure that we will begin the New Year's without any problem.
The next stop was at the Special Intervention Brigade team office at Hippodrome, where distress calls are received via the toll-free number 1017.
I deploy a team on the field depending on the type of call we receive. If it is a situation that needs immediate intervention, we call and find out which team is closer to the incident and send them to the area. If not, we constitute another team and leave immediately to the place.
At Carrefour Set Colline in Melen, another police control was stationed.
Our work is to secure the population. We also check vehicles and car documents, making sure all is correct.
The same situation at Carrefour Pastos. Police troops were present overseeing the safety of the population while they feast.
And that was on the 31st night, crossing into the 1st of January 2021. Defense and security forces promoted recently by decrees of the President of the Republic and decisions of the Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of defense have received new epaulets in ceremonies nationwide. The Minister Delegate Joseph Biya Asomo, in charge of defense, chaired the epaulet award ceremony this morning in Tibati. As we hear from this report by Sierra TV's envoy in Jembonde Albert.
3 squares of the infantry and a square each for the gendarmerie and the Air Force, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Georges Clément Mezugla, to welcome Joseph Biya Asomo as first defense minister ever to set foot in the Jerem division. It was a glory day for close to 50 officers, non-commissioned officers and the rank and file who received their epaulets, and a glory moment for the population who witnessed such a military celebration for the very first time.
All of us as Cameroonians, we should work together day by day to ensure that we live in peace and in security.
I'm very happy, and I promise we will redouble our efforts to serve our fatherland.
It is a privilege for Tibati to receive the Minister in charge of Defense. It is a special day, and I think that all the 2021 will be different and there are better perspectives.
After a perfect communion with the troops and the authority of the state reaffirmed, it is mission accomplished.
Talking about the promotion of military officials, most of the ceremonies went on today, absent the usual grand award ceremonies on January 1. Due to the respect of COVID-19 barrier measures forbidding the assembling of large numbers of persons, the different heads of the corps and other top officials have fixed the epaulets on the promoted personnel in their various departments. Killian Dattendifon tells us more.
The Department of Administrative and Regulatory Affairs in the Ministry of Defense, like all the other departments of the Corps, in a symbolic epaulet award ceremony, brought visible joy to its staff, like the promoted senior officers, sub-officers, and rank and file of the Army. The National Gendarmerie grouped its staff in different ceremonies. First at Kang Yayap in Yaoundé, presided at by the commander of the 1st Military Region, Brigadier General Hussein Jibo, at the Central Service of the National Gendarmerie. The staff of the Department of General Affairs did not only have the decorations with the new ranks, but received the blessings of their hierarchy. The joy of the decoration in the newly promoted in the Central Gendarmerie Legion can only be described as an overflow of emotions characterized by improvised fountain raining on them. To a special group, a peculiar attachment The territorial gendarmerie grouping was a case in point.
I'm so happy and grateful to upgrade in my job. So I thank God. I thank my family, my hierarchy.
In each of the decorations, toasts and blessings, the newly promoted were encouraged to work even harder.
Okay, this time let's talk about a young man who kidnapped and kept a child hostage in the Angisa neighborhood in Yaoundé against a sum of 50,000 francs. This young man has finally been arrested. Yannick Olinga locked up the child in a motel in Korondongo. Police of the 3rd Police District tracked and arrested him. Cynthia Saptala says the investigations are going on.
4-year-old Raphael and 5-year-old Kemine Jonas were saved by neighbors at the Angisa neighborhood in Yaoundé. They were being held by Yannick Olinga, an alleged kidnapper.
I was passing through this neighborhood while eating my piece of bread, and the little boy asked me for some bread, and I told him to come with me. I'll buy him some bread. While on the way, I told his brother to go and ask his mother what she would like to drink, and that's how I took away the little boy. I don't have the habit of doing this. It's because I had a financial problem of 50,000 CFA francs and wanted to sort it out by calling on the parents to send me a ransom of 50,000 francs.
Witnesses say the suspect had been a tenant in that neighborhood 6 months ago.
My mother sent me to go and buy a box of match. On my way, I saw a small boy who asked me if I know Darina and Andy, and I said no. He said there was somebody looking for them to take them to their uncle. Then the store attendant intervened, calling on some neighbors who started questioning him. We asked him several questions and he was unable to answer. We searched him and found on him a piece of paper with the names of children he had to kidnap.
The suspect lodges at Auberge Rivière at Angisa, close to the police station where he is said to carry out his operations.
When he came here with the boy, I asked him whose child it was. He said it was his child, and the mother does not want to stay home with him.
Security men have called on the population to be more vigilant.
It is a young man who has decided to kidnap children at the Angisa neighborhood. He was notified by some neighbors. While we were carrying out the investigations, we discovered he had kidnapped another child. Parents should be more vigilant over their children.
Thanks to the rapid intervention of the police, the suspect is under custody at the Public Security Police Station Angisa for further investigations.
Vigilance. Vigilance is the watchword. Now let's break into the second canto and talk about our fight against COVID-19. We have 15 days to the start of the 2020 African Nations Championship, the CHAN. And a number of health measures have been put in place both by CAF and the government of Cameroon to halt the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. For more, let's join Baldwin Sama at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, CUSP, with his guest, Dr. Joseph Fockham. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Benin Bumagana, one of the areas where there will be strict anti-COVID-19 measures that will be respected to avoid spread of the virus into the country happens to be at the airport, especially few days to the start of the upcoming African Nations Championship with foreign delegations that will be coming to Cameroon. What are some of these health measures that must be respected at the different entry points, especially at the airport on the eve of this competition? We discussed with guest Dr. Joseph Fockham. Good evening, Doc.
Good evening, Barry.
What are some of these health measures to be implemented at the different airports for these foreign delegations that will be arriving in Cameroon for the CHAN?
Effectively, Bowden, in line with our national anti-COVID-19 response, we actually have testing site based in each of those major airports in our country. And what we plan to do in this entry point is to make sure we should have tests available for those who are coming in. But first of all, we really want to make sure every person coming in for these sporting activities should also have a PCR test within 72 hours before entry into Cameroon. So by doing this, we know the virus incubation period has not been overlapped, and we are pretty sure we are going to catch up those that are at risk, and we will only allow into the country those that we are sure they are quite safe from COVID-19. And maybe one last important point is, even though they are already in the country, we will make sure 2 days before every match, we make sure we retest all those players to really mitigate the risks of COVID-19 circulating in our context, especially with new strains circulating now in many countries.
Thank you so much for always being available as a guest, Dr. Joseph Foka. I want to wish you a Happy New Year 2021, but anticipate we equally wish you a Happy New Year 2021 with all these barrier measures that were respected in 2020 and that must be respected this new year 2021. Back to you, Benen Bumagana.
Thank you very much and Happy New Year to you, Baldwin Sama van Kemen. Christians continue to pray as Cameroon and the world turns into 2021. Over at the Metropolitan Archbishop of Yaoundé has led Catholic faithful at the Marian Sanctuary in Simalen to pray for peace in the country this year. Some government officials attended the prayers, as we follow in this report by Alice Mbe.
It is a tradition for the Metropolitan Archbishop of Yaoundé to pray for peace in the country at the beginning of each year. In his special homily today, His Grace Jean Baga made mention of the importance of pilgrimage to Christians.
We want to thank God for the victory we got during the last year. It was very hard, but finally we succeed to overcome. And now I launched a new spiritual campaign of deliverance in this place of Ansimalen.
He also qualified this year as a year of experience and blessed the esplanade of Marian Sanctuary of Simalen as a place for deliverance, a special gift from God.
I want to recall that the pilgrimage is a good tradition, and Jesus has respected it.
Should improve what we are doing because we are assigned a new mission. We have the Miriam Pool of Miracle for people who have many kind of invisible problems. We go and dive there in those waters.
The ceremony was also an opportunity to consecrate the group, the Apostolic Servants of Christ and other Christians.
Let's stay in church. Christians of the Église Presbyterienne Camerounaise have been enjoined to stay clear of behaviors that jeopardize the peace in Cameroon as they cross over to the new year. The clarion call was made by the co-moderator of the EPC Messa 2, Reverend Awumu Jean-René, during the New Year service today in Yaoundé. Victor Siga was in church and brought back this report.
In songs deep in meaning, these Christians of the Église Presbyterienne Camerounaise praised, worship and thanked God Almighty for giving them the grace to be alive in 2020 amid the 2020 global health crisis.
Last year I've been with more difficulties because of COVID-19 and Christian of our meeting this first day of the year to be encouraged to increase in the faith and to take all the confidence to our Lord.
Faithful were told to take New Year resolutions that prone strong life void of moral values and shun societal ills like killings, theft and violence.
We must have repose all our life in our Lord Jesus Christ. He will help us. We say our Lord to give help to our head of state and all the governors of our country.
With Cameroon still facing socio-political crisis, worshippers have been urged to use the Holy Scriptures as a yardstick and remain steadfast in their prayer for a prosperous and peaceful nation in 2021.
So we've come to the end of the 7:30 news. Thank you very much for watching. Please watch the 8:30 edition with Atta Badinoma. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:30. Once again, Happy New Year 2021.
I urge you once again